Good afternoon, class. How are you today? Welcome to PE and Health subject. This is your teacher, Miss Judy and C. Pataxil for PE and Health subject. Objectives. At the end of the lesson, students will be able to identify what is modern dance and contemporary dance, discuss the evolution of modern and contemporary dance from generations, and perform a modern and contemporary dance. Since we are done discussing about the energy system last week, now we have a new lesson. So our new lesson is about Introduction to Modern Dance and Contemporary Dance. Modern dance. Do you have any idea what is modern dance? So modern dance began at the turn of the 19th century. The spirit change was in the air and was contagious among people in many different areas of dance and art. Modern dance began with a choice to move away from the rules, structures, and ideas of the past and to move to a more individually creative theory of dance. Modern dance thus have rules and forms. Each modern dance artist has developed a personal style of dancing and therefore a way of preparing their dancers. Modern dance is an experience in movement. Dance is movement. Movement is life and it surrounds you every moment. So what is modern dance? Modern dance is based on a highly individualized or personalized movement based upon the dancer's, choreographers' artistic intent. So, when we say modern dance, it is a personalized movement or it is an individualized movement. So, it is your choice of movements, choice of step, but it should be structured properly. Why study modern dance? Modern dance increases your body awareness and knowledge of how the body moves. It also increases your strength, flexibility, and general fitness level. It introduces you to a new form in which you experience the joy of movement and compete solely with yourself. It heightens your appreciation of other movement forms and music. Lastly, modern dance expands your awareness and appreciation of your own artistry and artistry of others. Characteristics of modern dance. Modern dance has no set curriculum, no particular music, no particular costume, no particular body types. It is natural, pedestrian carriage of the body. It is parallel first position from hips to toes, release of the neck when the head is dropped, stabilization of the pelvis, and cause and effect, action and reaction. It also weighted use of gravity, flexibility and articulation of spine, contraction and release, softening into the floor, and rebellion against ballet. So those are the characteristics of modern dance. Early modern dances looked beyond the dominant tradition of Western theatrical dance or ballet in order to give their dance a more communicative power. They drew on archaic or exotic sources for inspiration. When you say archaic, it is a very old-fashioned style of dance. There was no fancy music or scenery. Now, let's move on to the phases of modern dance to 1900 to present. 1900s to 1940. Social, economic, and political charges raised new questions about morality, rights, freedom, and the human condition. This new dance was not beautiful to the accustomed patron, but the beauty had not been defined. Now we have the famous modern dance choreographers. First, we have Isadora Duncan. Isadora Duncan is known as the mother of modern dance. Thought ballet was ugly and against nature, and wanted a style of dance that was free and natural. She had limited success in America. But Isadora Duncan founded the new system of interpretative dance, blending poetry, music, and rhythms of nature. And she explored concepts through dance, but most of her dances are influenced by Greek sculptures, flowy movements, and nature. Next, we have Ruth St. Denis. So Ruth St. Denis had a vision of a new form of dance, with form as well as freedom, and actually choreographed dances that were repeated each time performed. She gave birth to this new form in the theater, but designed it to be a communication on a spiritual level. So her choreography had Eastern influences from countries such as India and Egypt. She was particularly interested in exotic lands and the dance steps, costumes, and settings associated with them, as well as in using dance to explore spiritually. She married her dance partner Ted Shawn, and they developed the dance company which is Denny Shawn. And she's the teacher of Martha Graham, Doris Humphreys, and Charles Widman. The Big Four in 1910 to 1945. The main choreographers during this period were Martha Graham, Doris Humphrey, Charles Widman, and Hanya Holm. The major theme for the works created was about the American spirit, These dancers rejected external movement sources and turned to basic human movement experiences such as breathing and walking. They transformed these natural actions into dance movements. First, we have Martha Graham. She is known as the mother of American dance. So Graham developed the principle of contraction and release. Graham's original technique was rooted in a form of expressionism. She linked movement to emotional expression and developed a vocabulary to communicate emotions, exploring deep within her own psyche. Her famous work is Appalachian Spring, and she founded the Martha Graham Dance Company in 1926. So this is the example of the famous work of Martha Graham. This is the Appalachian Spring. So have you observed that it is like a theater type of dance? So that is Appalachian Spring. Next we have Doris Humphrey in 1895 to 1985. So Humphrey was a leading soloist in Denison. She created the Humphrey Widman School and Company with Charles Widman. She also created the theory of fall and recovery. Her themes of social organizations were important. She is first to use an ensemble and pieces versus solo dancer. Her famous work is Water Study. So this is the example of the famous work of Doris Humphrey. This is the Water Study. Next, we have Charles Widman in 1904 to 1975. Charles Widman performed with Denison. He is the co-founder of the Humphrey Widman School and Company. Widman's choreography was more humorous, punching holes in human foibles, and his famous work is Flickers. Next, we have Hanya Holm in 1893 to 1992. Hanya Holm trained in Germany. She worked in a more varied range and created humorous dances of social commentary. She turned her attention to Broadway and choreographed 11 hits such as Kiss Me Kate and My Fair Lady. She introduced the Mary Wigman technique in New York City in 1931. Now, let's move on to the second generation, in 1935 to 1980. This is the time period when students of the Big Four struck out on their own. The Big Four used these students to develop their own techniques, and then the students broke out. This resulted in more development and exploration. These techniques are still performed today. Merce Cunningham in 1919 to 2009. Merce Cunningham is a former performer with Martha Graham. His meaning of choreography was to be determined by the observer. He was not interested in telling stories or exploring psychological states. He said that Movement itself is the principal subject matter of his dances. Neither narrative nor musical form determines their structure. Alvin Ailey, in 1931 to 1989. Alvin Ailey is born in Texas. He created Alvin Ailey American Dance Theater. He inspired by gospel, spirituals, and the blues. Revelation is his most critically acclaimed work. So this is the example of the critical work of Alvin Ailey, The Revelations. Now, let's move on to modern, postmodernism to 1960 to 1980, and contemporary dance. Modern dance went through a subtle but interesting change between the 40s and 60s. The genre had been around long enough by now that the excitement of a new way to express ideas had calmed down. Now, instead of continuing to invent new techniques, people were excited about practicing the techniques that had been created. Dancers wanted to learn the Graham technique or Lyman technique and to perform this new dance genre. The new purpose of modern dance was to take what they already had and make it better. This meant creating modern technique and guidelines. The very first things as the first and second generation modern dancers were trying to avoid. The postmodernists or after-moderns rejected the techniques and theories of modern dance and experimented with new movement structures. They are best known for their acrobatic skill and for pushing the definition of dance. Contemporary dance draws on both modern and postmodern dance as a source of inspiration. The social and artistic upheavals of the late 1960s and 70s provoked even more radical forms of modern dance. Modern dance today is much more sophisticated in technique and technology than when modern dance was founded. The founders composed their dances entirely of spirit, soul, heart, and mind as opposed to today's modern which has more technical aspects. The concern with social problems and the condition of human spirit is still expressed, but the issues that are presented would have appalled many early modern dancers. Now, let's move on to what is contemporary dance. Contemporary dance is a genre of dance that employs philosophy to guide unchoreographed movement. It uses dance techniques found in ballet, modern dance, and postmodern dance. It focuses on alignment, opposing movement, emotions, and systematic breathing. It is an extremely fluid and very unclear or ill-defined style of dance. It is not associated with specific dance techniques. Isadora Duncan is often quoted as being the mother of contemporary dance. In this dance style, people attempt to explore the natural energy and emotions of their bodies to produce dances that are often very personal. Why study contemporary dance? First, to develop physical skills and training habits. Second, it can maintain better health throughout their lives. Third, to gain poise, confidence, emotional stability, and creative thinking skills. And contemporary dance let the dancers or individuals to express their inner emotions to the audience. Techniques of contemporary dance. Contact improvisation. It is the awareness of space and weight, exploration of movements from weight exchange, fluid movement, and touch points. Dance improvisation. It is used as a choreographed tool to explore new movement and ideas. Pilates, yoga, martial arts, floor work, lifts and partnering, using body's natural line and energy, greater range of fluidity, flow of movement, from ballet, modern dance, and post-modern dance. So those are the techniques of contemporary dance. We also have Alexander technique, using muscles efficiently to improve movement and posture. Next, we have the Lyman technique, exploring the energy of gravity, working with weights, heavy energy, fall or rebound, recovery, suspension, and breathing to lift. Graham technique, use of abdominal, pelvis, grounded energy, breathing plus impulse control or contact, release, fall, and recovery. Some of the first people to explore contemporary dance. First, we have Isadora Duncan. We have Doris Humphrey. We have Francois de la Sorte, Marie Rambert, Emile Jacques Dalcroze, Ruth St. Denis, Merce Cunningham, Martha Graham, Paul Taylor, and Jose Lyman. So those are the people who first explored the contemporary dance. Elements of contemporary dance. First, we have the theme, the skill of movement executed by the dancer. Next, we have music. It is the auditory background to which a dancer moves. Costumes and body paraphernalia. It is the properties worn by the dancer that help reflect the message, customs, and beliefs. Choreography. The figures and step and dancing that enables the dancers to perform in an organized manner. And last, we have the scenery, the background or setting where the dance is performed to make it more realistic and enriching. So that's all for our lesson this afternoon. Do you have any questions? If none, let's move on to your activity and to your quiz. For your activity and for your quiz, Just follow the GAITF link on your screen. And if you have any more questions about the lesson that we discussed this afternoon, just contact me in my number 0955052397. Goodbye and have a nice day.